Hello, and welcome to Camping on the Wild Side. This is my brand new podcast for those who have an interest in wild camping, hiking, and the outdoors, or even if you like the thought of it. This is for you. Here I will be talking about my wild camping trips around Scotland, sharing my experiences, my ups and downs, talking about tents, equipment, the scenery, food, and the freedom I get. My name is Steve Walker. I'm a Scottish actor, voiceover artist, radio presenter, YouTuber, and now taking the plunge into podcasting. So come and join me as I take you camping on the wild side. Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is my intro podcast, telling you all about my podcast show, Camping on the Wild Side, in more detail. So, first of all, who's this aimed at? And who's it for? Well, it's aimed at wild campers, people that do hill walking, rambling, and general people who like the outdoors. You don't have to be involved with the outdoors, but having an interest in it and understanding it would be helpful. But it's basically aimed at anybody. So if you're new to this and don't have an interest in it, so have a listen and see what you think. Welcome on board. So the podcast's all about wild camping, and hopefully this is helpful to you. It's useful. It's creative, it's easy to listen to, and if you're thinking about doing some wild camping, then that's a good thing. And hopefully it gives you a sense of adventure with the journeys that I give you, and I hope that helps you. So Camping on the Wild Side is already a YouTube channel I run, and it's basically all about my wild camping adventures, and I put them on YouTube. The podcast is now a secondary thing that after my wild camping time, and I put it on YouTube, the podcast is now a big debrief that tells my experience of how that whole weekend went, or whole day, depending on if I do a night or a weekend. But the time away I spend, the podcast is basically giving a big debrief about how it all went. The ups and downs. So why a podcast? Well, I think I had one of these light bulb moments, and I just so happened to go onto one of the platforms and just type in wild camping in Scotland, and it didn't really come up with a lot. There's a lot of people doing camping and exploring and camper vanning and all across the board, but I thought there was a bit of a market for my podcast show. So this is why I'm doing it. I thought, well, not everybody listens to YouTube. Everybody watches YouTube. So podcast is another way of me putting my experiences out there and showing you my hobby and interest. So why Scotland? Well, Scotland is my home country. I'm very patriotic. Scotland is huge, and the scenery is just stunning. No matter where you go in Scotland, there's always something different to see, and no matter what time of year it is just so lovely to be there. So there's so many places to go, and there's enough places to wild camp and do lots of different experiences all across wherever you go, north, south, east, west of Scotland. It's so much to do here, so that's why I concentrate on just dealing with Scotland. So each podcast that I deal with is based on my YouTube video, as I say. So I upload it to my channel, and then I do a podcast breakdown of it. So I'll be talking about the preparation I do and why I go there, talk about the travelling, So that will cover driving to an area, walking, basically how I get to the point. And then I'll talk about the camp, my whole night, right through to the morning, where I take the tent down and clear the area and move on. So you have the walkout. Then I give myself a debrief of what's actually been going on. I also talk about equipment. So what equipment I took, why I took it, did it work, did I use it, did I need it, any issues I come across. So things that just cause problems, or things I took and I don't know why I took it, just generally chatting about that. Also dangers. I think being a solo wild camper, we're always putting ourselves in a little bit of danger by going ourselves anyway. But when you camp in the woods, there's also like fallen trees, if you hurt yourself. Other areas are like climbing, so you're in amongst rocks, and crossing water as well. So there is all these elements of danger that we try to stay away from, but we have to overcome at some point anyway. And then also silly things like forgetting something. Every time we go away, we always forget something. It could be something silly like one less pair of socks, your fork and knife. So you have to overcome these issues as well, and it's daft, but it's silly things that we do still have to talk about. And foods as well. Foods is quite an important one, because if you're going away for a night, you want good stuff, but you don't want things like tins and bottles and cans and all that. That's not what we are all about. So we have to be quite sensible in foods. So I'll be talking about what kind of foods I take and all that kind of stuff. So then the overview of the trip. So telling you the trip has actually got you maybe thinking about doing some wild camping. Or if you're further afield, actually visiting Scotland with some of the footage that I have and me telling you about where I go and the views that I see. I'm one for watching sunrises and sunsets. So if that's your thing, it's another part to look out for. And even just if you're in Scotland, is exploring different parts of Scotland. We maybe feel like we're going to the same places all the time, and you never thought about going to this sort of particular point, or this hill to climb. So I maybe just touch on little bits like that maybe interest you. Or even if you're not one of these people for climbing or big fan of the outdoors, it's maybe getting you outdoors to maybe drive past some scenery. So anything helps. If it does anything helps, then there's a bonus as well. So on another note, just reaching out to any businesses that have products for the outdoors, whether that be jackets, sleeping bags, tents, foods, footwear, stoves, all that kind of stuff. If you would like a bit of promotion, get in touch. I'm quite willing to use some of these products as a sample and talk about them and put them on YouTube. So if you are a business like that and you have an outdoor shop or so on, or you know somebody who does, I'm quite willing to test some of this product for you and give you an honest opinion. So you can get in touch and we can have a chat about what works for both of us and take it from there. So just on that, if you'd like to join me on YouTube, you can do so. Just look up Camping on the Wild Side. I also have a Facebook page which is Camping on the Wild Side as well, and an Instagram page which is Camping on the Wild Side Scotland. You can check me out there and see what I'm all about. So thanks very much. I'm just going to wrap up things here. Thanks very much for listening. We shall get some podcasts out hopefully as quick as we can. I'll be working on them. And yes, thanks very much for listening, and we'll get them out and speak to you soon. You've been listening to Camping on the Wild Side.